Welcome to the Performance Banker Podcast. You'll hear banking industry experts providing unique insights and expertise to help bankers achieve higher performance, obtain outstanding results, and gain a competitive advantage. Here's your host, Tanya Gossage.
I had the opportunity this past week to attend the Arkansas Bankers Association Mega Conference, and I have to tell you, it was very good. There's so many challenges that both banks, credit unions, and we as consumers today are facing. And I want to share some of the things that were discussed in some of the sessions that I attended, because I have to tell you, there's some opportunities for all of us that we need to be taking a good look at and trying to figure out how we're going to handle those challenges and how we're going to meet the needs of the consumers, the regulators, and how we're going to tackle each of those as they present us with these opportunities. Anything from security, from cybersecurity, the threats that are out there today, the terrorist attacks, and we'll talk about each one of these just a little bit, but also, the consumer concerns about convenience, having everything right there in front of them, being able to meet our needs as we want them to determine exactly what we need when we need it, rather than just offering a set of products and we choose those products. There are so many opportunities out there today that are being presented to us from the non-financial institution and credit union banks, if you will, that are coming from PayPal, Stripe, all of those, the credit card companies, all of those entities out there that are pushing not only credit, but they're offering us checking accounts and all other types of opportunities that we can choose from, lending options. And so all of those are challenging the banks into coming up with out-of-the-box opportunities for us as consumers. And so, they've got a lot of stress on them right now as to how they're going to handle all of that. And then, of course, they have the regulators beating down on them, too, on certain things that they have to mandate. And so I just have to tell you, I walked away from there with a little bit of stress on behalf of both the consumer and the financial institutions. And so let's dive into some of this. And I've got, a notebook that's full of notes, and I just want to go through, some of those. But, right now we have the Gen Z group who is wanting mental health days. And, this is a real hot button that I'm finding out. And so for the workforce, this is a real issue. And the Gen Z population, they're not afraid to ask or have conversation around mental health. And as we're seeing in the society today, mental health is a huge issue. We look at all of the terrorist attacks, or all of and I'm calling the terrorist attacks, I'm lumping the shootings and all of these things that are happening today. It all revolves around mental health. And, they're asking for, they as in the Gen Z population, are asking for, time off around this. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of depression today. The medications are rampant out there, and people are stressed out about what's going on in the world today. There's a lot of chaos. You look back a couple of years ago when COVID started. I know personally of individuals who became depressed of having to just stay locked up and locked in and not being able to go anywhere, especially the people who are very people oriented type of individuals who were not able to get out and about. So when you look at that, it can cause mental health opportunities and challenges for companies today, not just financial institutions. And so, I ask you, and this was a question asked, at the mega conferences, do you have policies and procedures around this? Because if you don't, you're going to have to get that. And so I encourage you, if you're not already working on that, to get started. And then around that is the situation about working from home. There was a huge, and I did write it down, and I don't have it. I'd have to go through my notes to find it. But there is a statistic, and it is a high statistic. I was blown away. I want to say it was in the 70% of the population that has asked for a work from home policy going forward. Now, asking for and actually it happening are two different things. I do not know what the population is that is actually working from home now, but if you don't have a procedure and or a policy around work from home, it is imperative that you begin to work on that. And then the things that you have to consider in a work from home opportunity that you're giving employees is equipment, the use of their internet, the use of their cell phones, their personal cell phones. Their wages, may be different from work from home than work in the office. But what about the chairs that they sit in? They may not have a chair that is comfortable, or they may need cushions because they have back problems. And all of these things you've got to think about because they present you as employers as challenges. And so there were things that definitely opened my mind as the work from home policy is in effect on things that they can ask for and that you have to provide or reimburse them for. So, again, start working on this if you haven't already, because it appears that there will be more and more and more work from home requests and requirements that you have to meet those needs as we move forward in the society today. And so, have those remote work agreements. And then other things that you have to consider is, and I know you've all been on Zoom meetings and you've seen people get up and go to the restroom, or they may chat and say, I need to take my dog out real quick, or their dog gets up in their lap, or their cat. I've seen people's cat walk across their shoulder or across their desk, across the couch that they're sitting in. Have policies around that. Have policies around dress code. Maybe you need a dress code that says they can't wear a cap, or they can't have a restroom break as they are on your meeting calls. And then all of those things need to be spelled out in these procedures and these policies. And another thing, I have actually experienced this myself in working with clients, is they're on a PTO day and they're actually logging in to a specific meeting. that could really get you in trouble. So you want to make sure that if someone's on PTO, that they're not working that day. There's laws around that. So just be sure that you get all of that in agreements, get that in procedures, get that in policies. And so one of the other things that I wanted to talk about is, let's talk about loans for just a minute and products. So I talked about PayPal, Capital One credit cards, all of the credit cards out there. And gosh, I get them every single day, but there's entities or companies that we do business with that are offering an array amount of products to us as consumers, whether it's they're offering us gamification, they're offering us discounts, they're offering us things to certain stores, things that we do on a day-to-day basis, places we can shop and get these discounts. So there's so much out there. Identity theft offerings that they're offering to provide us as promos. So these things are out there that we are having to compete against. And so it starts off with one credit card or one product. I know as I buy tools and products for my company to be able to consult or coach, then it's not long, and that particular company then is asking me if I want to upgrade to a package that offers something else. The same thing is happening with your consumers. There is a large number of your customers who are, I'll say, quote, banking, not just with you, but many, many other entities out there. They have a credit card with a specific company, and then they may also have a checking account with that specific entity. And if we're not careful as financial institutions or credit unions, those entities are going to end up taking your customer away from you because of the wide variety of things that they offer your customers today, such as loans. And your customer or your restrictions may be so stiff today that they cannot get a loan from you. I get it. I understand. I worked in banking for 34 years. But if they can't get a loan from you, there is a fintech company out there that will loan them the money. And so there are fintech companies out there today that are seeking to do business with banks that offer, other products that also will make you an offer that if you can't provide a loan to a customer, that you can provide them a loan through a fintech company. So these may or may not be things that as a bank or credit union that you might want to look into, because there are these other entities, these other providers and vendors out there that are creating these relationships. They are creating opportunities for them to build savings accounts, investment accounts, being able to see their full financial portfolio in one opportunity. They know from the information gathering process that they have a car loan that is about to pay off. And so they start hitting them with advertisements of buying a new car or getting a new loan for something else. So the artificial intelligence that is out there today is super, super, super intelligent and super smart to know what our customers want, need, and are looking for. And that same intelligence is available to us as bankers. Our core providers aren't necessarily equipped to offer us that today. And as the bigger banks are offering similar products, our community banks are going to have to some way, somehow, get into the same type of competition with these outside third parties as well as the bigger banks. Because if not, we're going to be gobbled up. And so our customers are going to be looking for the convenience and the opportunities that are there. I know of people, I met with someone not long ago, who's a businessman, a small businessman, and he was telling me that he actually does business with 12 different banks. And so when I say that, 12 different banks, let me rephrase that into say 12 different financial entities. They're not all banks. I believe it was 2 of those were banks, and the others were third-party entities that are competing against his financial relationship. And if those banks aren't smart, they're going to lose his opportunity to stay with them as a very good multi-million dollar business, as well as financial stable individual. And so, he and I were having the conversation about the tools that are out there and how smart they are at coming after him for his full relationship. And I have to tell you, in what he was sharing with me, these companies out there, they know what they're doing, and they know how to market to us, to persuade us to come and do business with them. So either we will all do business with multiple third-party entities so that we can have the full gamut of all of the luxuries that are out there, or we may have a checking account with a bank that's right around the corner so we can have that customer face-to-face opportunity, but then do everything else with the third-party entities. I don't know how that's all going to play out, but I have to say that as the community banks, if we don't start getting into the competition, we are going to lose our customers. And, customer service is definitely one of those things that I feel like we've lost touch with. And I've done a podcast on that before of, what is customer service versus customer experience. And I firmly believe we've lost our touch in that area where these third-party entities they're gaining on us. And so we have to teach our people, how to communicate, how to build relationships, because again, if we don't, we're going to lose our consumers. We're going to lose our small business and commercial entities. And so then I want to go into having a conversation around getting creative around finding workers today. I know it is extremely difficult to find and retain talent, because once we find talent, we train them, we lose them to other people. And the unemployment percentages are too high today. There are so many people who have decided that during the pandemic, they've learned how to do without, and they're willing to do without. And so, we have to become extremely, number one, competitive, but number two, we have to think outside of the box in how that we can find and hire talent. someone brought up that and I thought this was great, but they brought up in ways that they were getting creative was finding ways that they can hire stay-at-home moms and bring them into the office. And some of the ways that they were doing that was providing daycares either next door or turning offices into those that were working from the office that are now working at home, taking those offices and turning them into daycare so that the positions that are that need individuals in the office, they are providing daycare for those type of moms so that they can hire them in the workforce. They're also turning some of those offices into homeschool buildings. They're turning them in and hiring tutors to offer as benefits for these moms. So again, you too may have to get creative on how you can find and hire talent to bring people into the workforce. And excuse me, some of the things around security is keeping the employees all the time educated about security, whether it's physical building security or whether it's internet security, cyber security, all of the threats that go on today. During one of the lunch meetings, we had a retired FBI agent come in and talk to us, took us all the way back to 1999 and showed us the attacks that have happened on the nation year after year after year, showed us some videos. And I have to say, it was eye-opening to realize that when an open fire situation happens, that people duck, go under desk or under whatever they can get close to rather than running. And of course, he said, be a moving target, don't duck, run, because it's harder to hit you with a firearm if you're running versus ducking. That was good education for me. I don't know that I've ever thought of it like that, but I guess you do what your first instinct is, but people revert back to what they've learned and the way that they've been trained. So train your people. He showed us a video back at the shooter in Vegas at the Mandalay Bay, and it was amazing to see all of those rounds of fire being shot and nobody ran. Everybody ducked. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. And anyway, the moral to that is run. It was just, the church shooting that happened, and in so many cases that he showed, and even where situations, even in the church building where people had guns, people didn't run, they ducked. So, keep that in mind, but ways to protect yourself. Think about and watch your surroundings and look for uncomedies and report those things. But I have to just tell you that we cannot be too careful. We have to trust no one. Trust no one. I have taught multiple times on social media ways to look for fraudsters that are coming in to steal your information, steal your accounts. And then I even have one-to-one conversations with people. And then the next thing I know, their account is compromised. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And there are so many ways to protect yourself. I do understand it's not if it's going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. It's becoming more rampant, but you have to protect yourself. You have to listen when your financial institution trains you. You have to not open emails with links that are not familiar to you. You have to look at the email addresses that they're coming from. Today, we get text messages from all kinds of people that we do not know. I don't even open them. I immediately delete them. If I don't know the phone number, I don't know the name it's coming in, then it's deleted. If it's important, they will find another way to get a hold of me. That's the way I look at it. So don't be vulnerable. It's better to delete it than be sorry, in my opinion. Stop being curious people. Be in a mindset of protecting yourself, because there is people out there who are going to attempt to get you. Lastly, I just want to say that there is so much data out there in the world about us. So much data. Every time that you buy an app, you're giving them permission to gain data about you. They know your trends. They know everything about you. If you have an Apple, a Google device in your home, they know all about you. If you're on Facebook, they know all about you. Your banks have enough data that they too can market to you to meet your financial needs. They just need to offer. We, financial institutions, doesn't say we because I'm a coach and a consultant and a trainer, but there is enough data out there that we should use our data in the most efficient way to offer our consumers what they are looking for. And we should find out what they are looking for and then figure out how we can best take care of our consumers so that the third-party entities don't take over our consumers. Otherwise, again, that leaves us in a situation to where we start having all of this deposit and loan runoff, which then minimizes our profit and our deposit and loan base to where we have nothing left to grow from. And the third parties are growing like crazy. And so we know they're out there to get to solicit us. We know they're working hard to do it. And therefore, we have to work hard to get the ball rolling and find these fintech companies, find these other vendors to work with. There are some great ones out there that are willing to help us to grow and move towards what our customers are asking us to offer. And so with that, I'm Tanya Gossage, your performance banker, and I hope that you did get some value out of this session today, and I look forward to bringing you more information in the near future. I will be attending the Financial Brand Forum in November. Looking forward to that because I know we're going to continue to learn more and more about what our consumers are looking for and what our banks are going to have to do to get ready so that we can continue to move in the direction that we as consumers are expecting. So until next week, have a wonderful week. And I love you guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to download and subscribe wherever you get your shows. Find more content on our YouTube channel. Link is in the show notes. This podcast is sponsored by GossagePerformanceConsulting.com.